Welcome, 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 Cancers. We're here to do another tarot deep dive for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and for commenting and for sharing, for helping promote this channel. All of that is greatly appreciated. Let's see what we have coming up for the next 28 days or so. What is it that Spirit wants us to really focus in on? Let's take a peek and see what topics we're going to be working with. First topic, the ship. So this can be literally about travel, or it could be about something that we're doing that goes over the airwaves. So this could be, like video calls or phone calls. This could be like live streaming, anything like that, any kind of communication that goes long distance basically as well. So travel or something that's happening possibly online is going to be our first topic. We'll understand a little bit more about that as we open that up with our first deck of tarot cards. Second topic comes up as the clover. Oh, we like it. This is very good luck coming in. The clover doesn't have a whole lot of different ways you can interpret it. It's one of the cards that doesn't really. It just means something is happening that is good. So we'll see what that might be as we take a peek at this. And then looking at our third topic, we have the mice. I'm not a big fan of the mice right behind the clover, but we've got a lot that could be happening between these two cards because we've got like 6 cards in between them. But the mice talk about chewing away at something. So we're hoping that they're not chewing away at the good luck that we have already. This can be chewing away also at any number of things, including mental reprogramming that we want to do. We could be chewing away at old programs that aren't working out too well. Could be chewing away at obstacles or distractions. So we're going to hope that this is a good meaning. We're going to find out more as we open this up. And if it's not a good meaning, we're going to find our best advice how to get beyond whatever this is that's being chewed through, how to get beyond that situation. So either way, we'll end up just fine. And let's see what our fourth topic will be for my friends Cancer. Stork card. This is upgrade. I love it. This is an upgrade. This can be a promotion at work. This can be upgrading your home. That doesn't look straight on the camera. Let's upgrade the view. But something is being upgraded. Can be an upgrade in health, all kinds of good things. So let's just see, potentially, if we want to be like really honest about what could be happening here, this could be whatever's getting chewed through, could be getting upgraded or emphasized as well, could be getting highlighted. So like I said, hopefully whatever's getting chewed through is a good thing to have chewed through or chewed away. And if not, we'll find out advice how to turn that situation in a better direction. And then we're looking at final topic for this next 28 days. Oh, we're coming up to a decision. All of this is leading us into a decision, my fellow Cancers. That's where these topics are leading us. Very interesting. All right, so let's see what we have going on. We're going to take this one topic at a time and expand it, each of them just a little bit. So we're going to start with our first topic, which is the ship, which can be about travel or it can be about long-distance communication. Let's put it that way. Travel or long-distance communication is a nice simple way to say that. Let's see what we have. Boopity-doo-doo, boopity-doo-doo, boopity-doo. Why am I shuffling these to put down? Oh, okay. Well, because these should not be in this deck, let's pull those out. We're going to start off with looking at some oracle cards, which I don't normally do, but that's what Spirit had me pick up first. So this is where we're going today with this, how we're expanding this particular topic. Let's see what we have regarding travel or communication, long distance version. Ooh, blessings. We like this. Inner knowing. We like that too. And healing. Okay. So, I really don't know if we're talking about travel or if we're talking about long distance communication cancers. Maybe it's going to be travel for some of you and communication for others. I know I have a very good cancer friend who is traveling right now. So I know that it's going to be travel for some of you. Yeah, I don't know that that's going to be true for all of you. Some of you may not be. But what we have, either way, whether this is travel or whether this is just communication, this is travel or communication that you're doing because you want to be a blessing to somebody. You want to be a positive impact on that person. You want to have a positive influence in their life. Basically, you're bringing your blessings. You may be bringing presents. There may be something to celebrate here. There may be a wedding, or maybe it's like a 50th anniversary, or maybe you're traveling for somebody's birthday, or maybe somebody's having a baby. But there's something here about you're bringing blessings. So you could be, I guess you could be literally shipping gifts, or you could be bringing gifts, either way. Or even what you're saying. What you're saying is something that is to bring blessings, to help influence things in a positive direction. This inner knowing is kind of your own inner guidance that has led you to do this, basically. And it is bringing some kind of healing. So bringing some kind of healing, I would say, to the relationship. Or if you're not traveling to bring blessings to another person outside of yourself, then this would be to bring healing to yourself. Maybe this trip or this communication is a blessing for yourself, and so bringing some healing there. So we've got a few storylines actually for you cancers. So I'm not able to take it down just specific because I don't think the same thing is happening for all of you exactly. Although we do have this energy of something happening at a distance from your normal, whether you're there, you're communicating to someone there, you're bringing in some kind of blessings or shipping in some kind of blessings. And this is because of your own intuition or inner knowing that you're doing this. You just know that this is the right time to do this, whatever this is. And it brings healing to some kind of situation or relationship if it's about going to see a person. Or could even be bringing healing to the relationship to yourself. All right, let's look at your best advice or heads up here. It looks like you're already on a pretty good track. I can't imagine what's going to be a advice here. There might be a heads up, though. Let's see what we have. And we're going to use the Dream Raven Tarot, or Raven Dream Tarot. I never can remember what this is called, but we're going to use these for that. So best advice or heads up is coming out as the Six of Swords. Isn't that interesting in reverse? Eight of Cups. And the Page of Pentacles. So, with this, I want to say that this clinches it to be travel, but I still don't think it's travel for all of you. I'm really just looking at this. Now, Six of Swords in reverse is kind of making the trip back home. So that's, and my Eight of Cups is my walk away card, which really feeds into that idea of making that trip back home. And the Page of Pentacles, I guess this is more of a heads up because that Page of Pentacles is in reverse. This basically says that whenever you make the trip back home, you may have less money in your savings than you thought you would. So you probably are spending more on this trip than you planned on. I don't really see any regrets here. Okay. I don't see that at all. And we've got our Clover is up next, which is going to kind of influence this. So I really feel like this was a very good trip to have made. The Peacock here is very fortuitous as well on that last card. So I think that I don't think you have any regrets at all about making this trip. I do think that when you come home, you may be adjusting your budget a little bit to make up for things that you didn't expect to have happen on the trip, where you might have had to spend some money you weren't exactly planning on spending. Okay, so that's what we have for our first topic. Let me get my cards on the right stack here. That would be nice. I counted my decks of cards the other day. I can't remember if I had like 17 or 21, but I had significantly more than the last time I counted. And that was just my decks near the desk. That doesn't even count my decks in the car and my purse, etc., etc. All right, so second topic, Clover. Good luck. What is lucky, lucky, lucky? Let's take a peek here. Show us what the Clover is talking about for Cancer, please. What is this stroke of wonderful luck? Which, by the way, I'm going to tell you, I don't think we really got lucky. I think we create our own luck. I am cynical like that. I'm all Scorpio. Shouldn't say I'm all Scorpio. My rising sign is Taurus and my moon sign is Pisces. Definitely a sister sign, though, to Cancer. What do we have? On good luck. Now, this is interesting. So what we're looking at here, first of all, we have Lovers in reverse. We have the Two of Pentacles, and we have the Eight of Wands. What's lucky here is that you're not actually paired up with somebody else for this trip. So maybe you're like technically paired up with somebody, but I think for the trip, you don't have a partner coming along on this trip, okay? I think that all the activities keep you very, very busy. And I think that all the activities are happiness making. These are all associated with good luck. And there's a lot of communication. And so what I'm hearing as I'm looking at this is communication back home. So there is somebody back home, whether it's a partner or whatever, there is communication with somebody back home that is very lucky to be having. So this is going to be not only lucky, but also, pleasant communication to be having. And by the way, that's the vice versa tarot. I don't think I introduced that one before on this video. And now we're going to go back to the Dream Raven or Raven Dream Tarot to say best advice or heads up about this good luck. This is another one I feel like, do we really need best advice here? We'll probably just end up with insight about these fortuitous activities. Knight of Wands, we like that. Five of Pentacles, we like that. Four of Wands. All right, so so this really says there may actually be somebody that you're, Okay, so we've got two storylines for this part of the cards, Cancer. So we're already splitting off storylines once again. For this storyline, this talks about the idea that there may be somebody that you meet, for some of you, while you're on this trip, that you're really enjoying meeting them. It's a good experience to meet this person. I don't think anything serious comes out of it with the Lovers in reverse, but there may be like a fun romantic interlude, especially with that Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is kind of, I'm here for a good time, but not necessarily a long time. He has to kind of become the king before he's ready to do the good time and the long time. So there could be something like that happening. Now, for others of you, that is not going to be the case. And for the others of you, what's going to be going on here is you're going to be having a hard time really deciding exactly what all you want to do, what's important to you, what you want to accomplish while you're here, and what do you need to set as a lesser priority and maybe come back to another time. Now, remember we have that Two of Pentacles going on. There's a lot happening. Five of Pentacles in reverse. I think you're spending a lot of time with people that you haven't got to spend time with for a long time, or a lot of time with people that you're thoroughly enjoying. So this can be, there are a lot of social activities that are happening. And it can also be something where these are social activities that maybe other people are paying for. Maybe you're staying at an all-inclusive resort where you've already paid for it all up front. That could be too, where you're not having to pinch your pennies, let's say that, with the activities that are happening. And this Eight of Wands coming up with the Four of Wands right underneath of it says that the last lucky thing that we have coming up under the clover is that communication, and that communication is with somebody back home, with home or with family. Okay, so this is long distance communication back to home or family. Now, for those of you that this isn't a trip, this is long distance communication. This could be that communication back to home or family. This might be like family of origin. That's really lucky. It could be that you have a lot of things to do that keep you from actually traveling, but do allow you to communicate right where you are. For those of you that this is not actual travel, but this is just communication, long distance that we're seeing rather than a trip. Either way, whether you are away and you're communicating back with whoever's back home where you just left, or whether you are only communicating with somebody from your home of origin or someplace that feels like home, either way, that communication is good luck. Okay, so let's look at, is there any advice here? I think this is really more just heads up on all of this stuff. All right, let's look at that. Now, let's look at topic number 3. Here we have the mice. Are the mice what happens when we get home and we realize we spent all of our energy on vacation and now we're tired? Could be, maybe. Which deck should I be using for this? Tell me about the mice. We're going to use the Lenormand to clarify the mice, actually, which this is a Lenormand card. Let's see what we need. What should we know about the mice for Cancer, please? What should we know? Okay, well, this can be that there's something definitely being chewed away, and it might be chewed away kind of suddenly with the scythe. And this is going to be communication or agreements, possibly, with that wax seal with a female. I don't think this is with yourself. I do think that this is with another female who's probably important to you. This could be with, a mom or a sister or an auntie or a good friend, but there's something going on here where, and I don't know if this is related to the trip or not, or the long distance communication, or if we're looking at a whole different topic. So far, I'm not sure if these are tied in together yet. You guys may know. This may be different for everybody, is why I can't tell. Once again, but you guys will know as we walk through this whether it's tied with the trip or not, or if you don't know right away, you might know after the trip. I never noticed that there's like little words that go around the circle here, and the first one that I saw is the ship. So guess what? I do think that this has to do with our trip, just because I never noticed that before. The fact that it's jumping out now. What is happening here? For some of you, I think there's something going on with the contract as far as for your travel, that there's some kind of sudden change that happens with that. And we've already kind of talked about what's been going on while you're on the trip. So I'm assuming that now we're talking about travel back because we're moving forward through time. So this is talking about travel back. And I'm just going to treat the rest of this as if this is actually a trip. If it's actually long distance communication, then you're going to have to kind of adjust and take these meanings and help them, kind of fit the context. But I'm going to go with that one story that it's a trip from this point forward, I think. because of the ship coming up. That's really telling me that for most of you, that's what this is. If there's something going on with this, with the plans about the trip and with that wax seal, these would be things like maybe you bought tickets and then for your trip home, and then something happens and there's a delay in the cruise or a delay in the flight, whatever the situation might be. And I think that this comes up suddenly. With the scythe here, it's something that happens quickly. So I don't think that you get a lot of notice on this, even though I think whatever's been going on is something that's been happening gradually. So there may be some kind of maintenance issue that hasn't exactly been dealt with. You are suddenly made aware that the contract that you have for your travel may not be able to be honored exactly the way that it was put out. So there's definitely going to have to be some changes in your travel after your trip. So your travel back to home. Back to where you left from, let's put that way. Let's look at best advice or heads up around this. We're going to use these cards for that. We're back to the Dream Raven. Heads up or advice around this. These cards, you can see the ravens kind of look like they're in flight too. I think that's really appropriate for looking at what's going on with a trip. What's best advice or heads up for this situation for my Cancer friends? All right, we have the Two of Cups. We have the Change card. And we have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so I like that we end up with the Eight of Pentacles. That's fine. That kind of tells us that, you know, maybe it's not ideal, but we definitely get to a happy ending with the Eight of Pentacles right side up. With my Two of Cups in reverse, this says whatever's going on here with this contract or this agreement that is being changed, you're not a fan. Okay. Two of Cups says, not a fan. I thought I liked the travel that I had signed up for. Now I'm not so sure about that. We do have the Death card coming in right underneath that scythe. The scythe talks about something that changes suddenly or a sudden cut. And so with the Death card coming in, you guys who've been watching me forever, you know that I would never call a card death. I would always call it transition or transformation. So we have some kind of sudden transformation. Well, we already saw that with the Death card. This just tells me that this transformation actually is a good one that happens. And so this could be, okay, we've got maintenance that happens to hit a critical point. So it's a good thing that this is being changed. All right. Anyway, this is a good thing that this cut is actually happening, or this modification to the agreement that is suddenly coming through. It's a good thing that this is happening. And with the Eight of Pentacles right underneath the female Cancers, here's what I think. I think that you guys are making this work. You may be making this work with the help of a friend, a female, could be a family member as well, but you could be making this work with the help of a friend, or you yourselves could be making this work, especially if you're a female. But my Eight of Pentacles is my card that says we're working things out, we're making things happen, we're taking care of business. There's some energy and some effort involved in it. There may be some money involved in it, but we're making it work, okay? So whatever is going on here, it works out for your highest and best good, even though you're definitely not a fan at the start of it. Okay? And it is a change. It's a noticeable change. All right. Now, let's look at our next topic. We have the stork. Now, we like the stork because the stork is an upgrade. Maybe you get upgraded to first class whenever they find you a new seat somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. We already know that coming back from the trip is going to work out just fine. From the Eight of Pentacles, let's do a little bit more clarification about the stork. What can you tell my Cancers about the stork so that they know what this is about, please? How can we expand this for them? This is my vice versa tarot. There's no front and there's no back. So if you're wondering why you're seeing pictures as I'm shuffling instead of the backs of cards, that's why. That would be why. Alrighty. So Cancers for the stork. Well, there you are. I always take it as a good omen whenever you show up in your own reading. That means you're operating in your own mojo, and we like that. That just means you get to be your authentic and true self. So we like you being your authentic and true self, very nurturing, very uplifting. What do we have going on here? I want to take a peek at some of these. We have that side of these. Oh, that's the Hierophant? Is that right? Yeah, that's the Hierophant. I kind of thought he was the Emperor from the back. Oh, yeah, the Emperor would have fire and ice behind him. That's the Hierophant. And she came in like this. So, what do we have happening here? This is interesting. So, I do think you may have some kind of upgrade on the trip, actually, or there's some kind of upgrade that happens maybe a little bit after the trip, because we have the Knight of Pentacles coming up in reverse. This basically says that whatever this upgrade is, you're not having to pay out for it, or you're not having to put out effort for that upgrade. Okay. Now we know you're already dealing with some kind of modification from before. So we're not saying, oh, nothing changes and somebody just drops this wonderful thing in your lap. There's definitely something you had to deal with. This may be how they're compensating you for having to deal with that, is by some kind of upgrade in your travel. And then when we have the Hierophant showing up the back of the Hierophant and in reverse, this is something that is not traditional. This is not in the ordinary. This is not something that you would even expect to have happen. Even in this situation, you would not necessarily expect this type of upgrade. It's very interesting, though. We've got the key here. So the key opens doors that would not otherwise be opened. If we did not have the key, we would not be allowed access to these places. So there's some kind of opportunity that you're not having to pay anything for that is being upgraded. This may be on the trip back, or would be immediately after the trip back, one or the other, just in the order that these are placed. And with the Queen of Cups, I think that you're fairly happy with this. This allows you some time to do a little bit of self-care and self-nurture and self-rest after all the excitement of all the stuff going on the trip, after the excitement of the plan change. Now you're getting a little bit of a breather here. So we like that. That's awesome. I almost didn't even clarify. Let's clarify this. Tell me more, please tell me more. Okay, best advice or insight around this situation. What do we have? Page of Wands. Ooh, that's nice news. Page of Swords in reverse. Interesting. Six of Cups in reverse. This is something that is definitely happening as a way of compensating for the changes that had to be made before with this spread. That's what I will tell you for sure. My Page of Wands is somebody who has good news about something that you would like to do, something that makes you feel happy or excited. The Page of Swords is sort of digging in for information. So whenever somebody comes up with whatever this upgrade is, you may have to ask more questions to figure out, okay, how do I actually access this with my key here? And the key is not necessarily literal, guys, figurative speech. And the Six of Cups coming up in reverse is basically what's telling me, because we've got the Queen of Cups right here. This is basically telling me that this has to do with something that was kind of a bad memory. So this bad memory would have been what we had when you were not too thrilled about the change that was being made here. And so this actually helps you. This is part of the reason why you're getting this, and this is allowing you this chance to actually exhale for a minute here. All right. All right. So that's interesting. It does look like something is definitely happening and changing, but it looks like you're being compensated for that. You may not know that right away, though. I would say you probably don't know that right away. It takes a minute to know that, but once you do know that, I think it'll be nice. Now, and I think you're being compensated too, because remember we had the Eight of Pentacles show up. I think you're being compensated because you are willing to work with the situation. You're willing to be cooperative with this. So let's look at our decision. What is our ultimate decision that we have here? Okay. What do Cancers need to know about this ultimate decision that they have here? What is this a decision between for them? Boop-a-dee-doo. Boop-a-dee-doo. Boop-a-dee-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Clearing your energy. Oh, for new beginnings. I thought this was going to be like an either or thing. It's not really. This is interesting. I definitely want to know more about that. So clearing your energy, this can be a purge of anything that's negative that is around you that's holding you back or becoming an obstacle. This can be smudging your house as soon as you get home. But coming back and creating new beginnings basically says, that this trip that you're making, you can turn that into a reset for yourself so that you can come back and have new beginnings. By the way, clear your energy doesn't have to be just smudging either. Sometimes it's clean the house. Not as exciting. But this could be coming back and cleaning the house. Or if we come back and the house is clean, then this is saying now you've got room for new beginnings in the energy because the energy has been prepared. It has been cleared. Now you have a chance for a new beginning. So if you cleaned before you left, which I know a lot of people like to do, they like to clean before they leave on a trip so they can come home to a clean house, then you've got some clear energy you're coming back to, and the trip has been sort of a reset. Now you can sort of start over, have new beginnings. If you come back and the house has not been cleaned up, you really want to clean that because it makes a difference energetically so that you can have that reset to allow for new beginnings. Let's look at more information about this. Okay. All right. So the first thing that we have is the Ten of Swords in reverse, which that basically tells us that this is kind of an ongoing process. This whole cleansing and new start, cleansing and reset. Once we get home, we get to decide, are we going to do a cleanse or a purge and a reset? But if we decide to do that, then that's kind of an ongoing process. There's never a point where we say, oh, the reset is done. Oh, the cleansing is done. This is just a maintenance issue. Like, there's always new dishes to wash. So this is kind of a maintenance issue of the cleanse and the new start, that this is ongoing, and this is a decision. Are we going to do this or are we not going to do this? And then with the Knight of Pentacles, it looks to me like a lot of you have already done the cleanse, and so it's easier to come home to the restart because the trip reset you. Once again, we have the back side of the Hierophant. This time he's right side up. Looks to me like you've actually already committed. A lot of you have actually already committed to coming home, making sure everything is clean, resetting that energy, and having a fresh start when you get back from your trip. The information that Spirit wants you to know that you don't already know is this part about that this is kind of an ongoing process. The work is never done, as we all know. So, yes. But I think the good news here, even though the work is never done, the good news is that we can continuously be resetting into something that's better and better and better, as long as we make sure that we don't have anything in our energy that's dragging us back or holding us down. Whether that's a psychic vampire of a friend, or whether that is clutter in the house, or whatever that is, all of that stuff actually impacts us. And so you're going to have the free will choice or the decision when you come back. Do I want to do this? Do I want to really move forward with this and go ahead and have that reset? Or am I perfectly happy with how things were and let things continue to be how things were? It's kind of interesting, too, because I never noticed before on this Lenormand card that we had for our topic card. This is where we make the decision. So we climb the stairs and we have to decide, are we going to go to the left or to the right? And you can kind of see that this has sunlight beaming in. And this has sunlight beaming in, too, but you can see more sky. Here you can see more sun. Either way is not a bad way to go. It's not like either one of these doors takes you out into the dark of night. It's just a matter of what is your preference. And so, once again, giving this idea of free will. You have free will to continue on as things were without a reset if you choose, or you can clear the energy. You can use this trip as a reset and come back and clear any old energy, any old stagnant energy, and get rid of it, so that you can move forward again. And look, we still have the key here, which opens new doors that would not have been opened before. And you guys have already really laid the groundwork for that new beginning. I think you have. To me, it's like a no-brainer that you're going to go for the reset here. And if it's not, I apologize. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I think you guys are going for that automatically. You're already halfway set up for it. Okay, so that's what I've got. Let me go ahead and stop this recording and get ready to send it out to you out in the world. Thank you guys very much for being here. Remember to check out my website if you think you might be able to use any of the services I offer. I do have a newsletter there if you want to sign up for that. I do weekly predictions for every sign every Sunday evening with my newsletter if you sign up for it. Also, you get a discount on a reading during your birthday time frame if you're a newsletter subscriber. Okay, that does it for me. Everybody have a fantastic month. Peace out.